favorite podcast on the planet, Realty Talk. We have a very exciting episode today.
We do.
Lots of new stuff. We're in a new location.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, this is your first time seeing this location, so.
It is.
What's the verdict?
It's very good. Very nice. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I saw 2 new offices today, but before we get into all that, we first have to make some introductions. So, to my right, you all know her. She is the queen of the closing table, Suzanne and she is the CEO founder of Innovate Realty, one of the fastest growing brokerages on the planet, definitely in California.
For sure, I'm feeling that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drama-free growing.
Yes. And one of our newer, but very exciting and top agents, Stephanie. And can you help me pronounce your last name?
Becker.
Becker.
Yes.
It's
Like
that
Boris
simple.
Becker. Yes.
What wasn't there? There was like a little accent or something on the email that I got.
No, maybe that was a typo by our guy behind the camera here.
I didn't ask
Stephanie
before.
Becker.
Okay, Stephanie Becker. We can cut that all out, or we can leave it in. And we're going to jump into Stephanie's background and everything she's up to. We're very excited to do that. But let's double click on a few of the new things.
And you are the host, Paul Fix-It-All Hansen. We can't forget that.
I often forget that.
Yeah, you like to forget it. I feel like you purposely forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are in the new Calabasas office.
We are, yeah.
So, over the last few months, we've hinted and talked a lot about Innovate growing, and we have 2 new LA offices, one in Calabasas and one in
Westlake Village.
Yes, Westlake Village, which is another 10 miles down the road.
Yeah.
So for all of our listeners that are not from Southern California, we're just north and a little bit west of Los Angeles, like downtown Los Angeles. It's technically called the Valley, I believe.
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
But it's only 20 minutes about, 25 from Malibu.
Yeah, yeah, and it's beautiful. It's really
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah.
Really nice office spaces. So this is our shameless plug. If you're a real estate agent in the Valley and you're not at Innovate, you're missing out.
You're missing out on this office space in general. It's it's a similar feeling to some of our other offices. Whenever I go to La Jolla, I'm like,
Yes.
this is where I like to work. Like it
it's
feels
so nice.
good. So and it feels like that here too. It's beautiful.
So we have a bit of a different episode today.
Yeah.
Typically we talk about the market and everything that's changing, and maybe we'll touch on a few of those things, but we really want to focus on Stephanie.
Yeah, we have a
And-
great guest. So
Yeah, you lead.
Sure. Yeah. No. So Stephanie, as Paul mentioned, is one of our top producing agents at Innovate, and she's been a top producing agent for quite some time. But kind of a unique background and really interesting because I'll share with our listeners. Stephanie and I kind of connected right away because even when we were doing our kind of intro event, and Stephanie attended the event. On the screen, I showed a photo of myself at a Christmas market, and Stephanie came up to me after and she's like, "Was that in Austria?" And it was. So she clocked it right away and then shared that, that's where she's from. So I would love to hear a little bit and just have you share with Paul and our listeners a little bit about your background and how you ended up here in California before we dive into real estate.
So I think since I was 12 or 11, even though Vienna is a very beautiful city, I was ready to move abroad. I always wanted to live by the ocean.
Yeah.
Career was not so important, but that was the goal. And out of high school, I moved to Italy for 5 years. And I started art conservation there, paintings and murals. And I worked in Italy and Turkey, and then fell in love with my now husband, who was living here already, but is from Vienna and grew up 10 minutes from my house. So,
And you met in Italy?
No, we met in Austria.
Oh, okay.
My brother was his roadie on tour, and
He's a musician.
He's a musician, and then he was my brother's producer, and so I came from Italy for a show in Vienna. That's how it started, but he was already living in LA, so we were long distance for 2 years.
Wow.
And then the woman I am, I said, "I'm not marrying you for a green card, I'm gonna find my own visa." And I managed to, and started in a small art conservation studio, and then moved over to the music business. careers always find me. I don't find them. And then at a party, I met a realtor, and she said, you would be great in real estate. So
wow, just that easy, you know?
yeah, I said, okay, I'm going to just do my license exam on the side. And then I hopped into real estate pregnant during the recession.
2008, 2009.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And that was like a beating. I mean, I think anyone who's ever tried surfing and gets caught in a wave and just roll around, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
But I feel anyone who started during this time will never give up. So
Yeah.
we are
Yeah, that's
definitely the group that will work the hardest
Yeah.
and fight for every deal. And yes, I've been doing this ever since.
Yeah.
That's
I was in
awesome.
London at that time. So it's same. It was just like,
Oh my goodness, yes.
it was equally, but it is true. It's like the people that lasted and stayed are the best ones, you
Yes.
know, because they stayed in it for a reason. They were
Yes.
top producers, and they were still made it
It's
happen.
a mix of
Yeah.
trauma. You'll never want to go through this time again. So
Yeah.
you're always working.
Yeah.
And knowing how bad it can be. So
Yeah.
anything else, even the last few years,
Yeah.
after when interest rates increased again, it didn't feel as it felt back then.
Yeah. Yeah. We knew it
Yes.
wasn't that bad.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Before we go too much further into real estate, because I know that's where we're headed, I want to talk a little bit more about Austria.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
You grew up there until you were through high school.
Yes.
Okay.
So at 19, I made the decision to go to school in Italy. So
That's awesome.
I had a little bit of a detour. In Austria, college is for free, right? So you
Yeah.
just choose, I'm going to go to university. And I thought, everybody back then said, you should go into art. And I was like, no, I'm going to go to business school. And I lasted 3 months because I cannot sit through classes. So that's why real estate is so beautiful, because you're on your feet all day long.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so boring. And so I switched into art history and then went to that specific school in Italy.
So do you still have family in Austria then, or?
Yes, I have my parents there. One of my brothers, my other brother lives in London. And my husband has 3 siblings, so we have a lot of nieces, nephews,
Yeah.
everything. A lot of family. So once a year for Christmas, that's where the picture. I have the same pictures with my kids.
Yeah.
City Hall. We go back for big
In Vienna.
reunion. Yes,
Okay.
every Christmas. My kids have never had a Christmas here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, how could you when
Yeah.
Christmases over there are like that,
Yes,
you
that's
know?
super fun, yeah.
Yeah. So, real quick, because I know you've talked a lot about, you know, the influences that your family and your mom and your grandmother have kind of played on your life. And what is a lesson that maybe you could share with our listeners that, you know, has really shaped and impacted your success?
I think I come from a family of very hard workers. If you grew up in Austria, you grew up with first-hand memories from your parents, grandparents, even my great-grandmothers, of World War II, of the rebuild. My grandfather rebuilt a business after World War II that did really well. It was a jewelry business, and we all worked in that since we were 13. We helped and grew up in that shop. My dad did the corporate route, but the same thing. People came from nothing, and we came from generations of women. There were no housewives. They all worked, and women rebuilt that country in the 40s. So I think that was something you're always doing. You're always working. You're always trying to find the next deal, and I think that translates to real estate and selling from the business too.
Yeah. Yeah, because real estate is so, you know, even for our listeners that aren't in real estate, I mean, I think it's just, real estate is so much what you make of it. It's, we talk about all the time the tools that the brokerage provides and all the support, but ultimately, like you are an entrepreneur, like you are in charge of your future and your success.
Yeah.
And so without that, I mean, what we oftentimes see without that drive and kind of that structure, we see a lot of times where agents, they don't know where to take that. It's more of a, you know, kind of, I don't want to say part-time, but less of the daily tasks to get to where they need to be.
I think it all looks so glamorous. I think that's why it becomes this, oh, the kid's out of the house, I'm gonna go into real estate. Or, ooh, this looks so good on TV, I'm gonna make so much money quick. But people don't understand as a career realtor how much of it is business, and it's not 9 to 5. And for some people it might look so easy, but we invest so much more time.
Yeah. We've actually been talking a lot lately about balance, about work-life balance.
Yeah.
So real estate, and you being in it so long, so do you have any advice, or what are your suggestions for, because real estate is 24/7 sometimes if you let it be. So how do you balance that? Because I see you all the time. I mean, I see you working hard, but I also see you making sure that you're there for the things that count for your family too.
I think I prioritize family at all times, but I make it work. What I learned over the years is I completely separate. I talk very little about my business at home because it helps me to separate from difficult transactions and just dive into a completely different world. I have a passion for horse riding and horses, so that's my therapy, and I try to get that in at least every second day at the moment. And there's no phone reception, I just take that hour off or two. So you have to find something that you love and that is not tied to any form of success. You just do it because it's fun. And sometimes it's okay to not pick up the phone. It's okay after a certain hour, though it depends on transactions. Because if I know I have a client with little ones and I need to put them to sleep, then I tell them, call me when you're done. Because I've been through that. My kids are older and I know how crazy it can get. So call me at 9 o'clock. But that is 4 months or 2 months out of your life. So you can adjust that. But I think it's very important to have boundaries. I used to not. And clients don't walk away because you set them. You know?
Yeah,
I feel like we talked about it on one of the last episodes. It really, and we've talked a lot about it in the service side of our escrow business. I feel like it's just being very organized with your own personal life so that you can then set expectations for the people that you're working with. If you set the proper expectations, basically you do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, then they're going to probably do the same. There might be 1 or 2 events where they have an emergency issue that pops up or whatnot, but I think it starts with the individual that's in that business that's producing, being organized enough to set the boundaries and expectations for their clients. Exactly.
So you don't ever want to be at a point where the client calls you for information. You want to give them the information already. And I think we are problem solvers, so you don't call the client and say, we have a problem, how can we fix this? I usually think of the solution and then call them and say, we had the problem, here's the solution for it. And this takes a lot of stress away, a lot of unnecessary phone calls, and I think that's how you can be very efficient. Also, my laptop travels with me everywhere. That's my office. I have a daughter who trains 4 times a week volleyball, and it's just with me in the gym, in the car. It doesn't matter. So you can do business from anywhere.
Well, I think the message to a newer agent or somebody that's interested in doing that, it's not about finding attachment and success to the paycheck that comes from a transaction being closed. It's about finding joy or success in the work or the actions that produce the transaction. I see a lot of younger agents that have signed up for mentor programs, and they get an opportunity and they're so nervous that they put on this salesman image where they're hungry for that commission. They're not hungry to go and solve the problem or create value. And so, I really like the concept, and what we preach is displacing the salesman image. You don't want to look or feel or sound like a salesperson. Yeah. You want to be a trusted advisor that sets really clear expectations, and then just does what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, because clients love that.
And be you. My biggest problem starting out, I was pretty new in this country. I'd been living here for 3 or 4 years, and I tried to be the American realtor, right?
Yeah.
And what was that? And then at some point I was like, screw it. It's me. Yeah. I grew up in Austria, lived in Italy, I'm global, I speak different languages, and I'm never gonna be the pantsuit agent with high heels. That's not me. And when I found myself, that's when I started having success. And now I'm finally in that point in my career where you just get the calls, right?
Yeah.
You just come. We want to work with you, and it's an equal relationship. I think younger agents, it's helpful to them to just start with a team or with a seasoned agent.
Yep.
Because it will give them more credit, and this way they can learn the ropes in the business.
Yeah, I've actually used the same analogy in horseback riding, actually, which is, humans, we have this prefrontal cortex, and so we're really smart, different than other mammals, but we can kind of sense what other people, are up to, like whether they're authentic or not. And horses are kind of the same. So if you're afraid of a horse, it's going to know right away, and it's going to mess with you, right? And I won't go into that long-winded story of how I learned that lesson at a young age. But when you're not yourself and you're not presenting yourself authentically, humans just know that. They can feel it, they can sense it, and so yeah, kudos to you to just lean into it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you have to stay excited. Like, I just launched a new listing, and I'm so excited for it. You have to be excited about design and the shoot itself and how to prepare it. And if all of that isn't fun for you, like, why are you even in it?
Yeah.
If it's just about the commission, then you're in the wrong job.
We say that all the time. I was meeting with an agent earlier, and I always say real estate, it doesn't seem hard. The actual transaction shouldn't be hard if all things went smoothly, but it is a hard profession. We deal with a lot of emotions and roller coasters and ups and downs. And I think, it's something that I talk about all the time, where if you, and I say it in kind of the brokerage sense, because it's like, if you're not loving coming into your brokerage and the people that you're working with and feeling supported and excited, this is your life. This is it. So, you have to make the choices for your life that are going to put you in the best spirits, because most of your life you're going to be working. So, so I always use that with the brokerage analogy, but the same thing can be said about the actual transaction, and finding the joys in those things, because there are going to be struggles throughout the transaction. There's going to be emotions and ups and downs. So, so it's important to love the things that you can love, Yeah,
and it's about, I think in our industry, it's easy to get a license. It's harder to be a professional, and you deal with so many different characters, and not many have the educational background that you might expect from them. So you deal also sometimes on the other side with another agent who does not have manners or anything, and you just have to adjust, and you never can let it get to your client or to yourself. Forget about ego, like that just goes out the window.
Yeah.
Within the first 5 deals, who cares?
Yeah.
But I think we are of service to the people that trust us. We're not servants, but we are of service. We're here to help with a very important transition in a life. And I think what social media has done a little, and I had this really interesting conversation with a nurse yesterday, because it has done the same to nursing. It looks so glamorous and fun until it's not. And I think there's a certain image around it that makes it look easier than it really is. And
the TV, the Selling Sunsets of the world, and it's like
or all the agents that try to copy that on their social media and make it look like people are just selling a pair of shoes, and it's not. It's a big transition for most people. It's the biggest investment in their life, and you need to treat it with that respect.
I think what people don't know is that, if you don't know, that these shows are not real. Like half the times the listings aren't listings. They're just like, hey, can we use your house?
Yes.
And so I agree.
Television.
Yeah,
it's a product.
I think we hear that a lot, and I say that a lot too, because it's such the reality. They're showing reality TV, but that's not the actual reality of real estate. And real estate is, hey, you're going to have these glamorous houses that you're going to sell, and sometimes they'll be super easy and everything goes great, but you're also going to have houses that you're going to sell for much less, make no money on, but help someone and, you know, change their life. And so, you know, there's the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think, you know, people definitely have a kind of skewed sense of what real estate actually is.
Before we come up on time, I have to ask the most important question of the day. It's a little personal, but when you go back to Austria, what's the one meal you're not gonna miss? Like, what's the one thing?
This is a series of things.
It's the only thing in my head at the moment.
My favorite
He's like,
one
we can't
is called Frittatensuppe.
We have to pronounce that.
It's
Frittatensuppe.
really delicious beef broth. And what the French call crêpe, which they probably stole from the Austrians. It's called palatschinken. It's a very thin pancake, and it's not sweet. And it gets rolled and then cut into noodles. And it's the best meal you can have just getting off the plane from this long flight.
It's a beef broth with...
And it has this as a type of noodle in there.
And you can only get it there.
It's throughout, it's Austria, maybe south of Germany. They call it something different. We'll forgive them for that. And then that's a delicious dish. And there is another dish my mom makes. She's an amazing cook, so she always has a meal prepared when we arrive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so you speak how many languages?
So I speak German, English, and Italian fluent, Spanish conversational, and some French.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always ask because I always like, it's like I put the weight on myself where I'm like, okay, Suzanne, step it up. You've been trying to learn Spanish for multiple years and you're gonna do it. So.
I love talking and I love languages, and it's to me, it's almost like cracking the code and then being able to converse with somebody else.
Yeah.
I just love, when I hear a language I don't understand, it upsets me. So.
Yeah.
Second most important question.
Okay.
Is there an Austrian restaurant that you recommend in Southern California?
Really?
Yeah.
No. I mean,
Got it.
there used to be one. It's an Austrian chef. It was called Lustig LA. I think he closed it down. He does catering now, but there's no real. There used to be one in Palm Springs. I don't know if it's open anymore, but I haven't gone there because my husband is also an amazing chef. So
She just eat it
a
all.
lot of Austrian.
There you go.
It's usually better home cooked.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, I have a question. If you could give any advice to your younger self, because you have, you made this transition, you came here, you jumped into real estate, and I have to imagine that you learned some lessons along the way.
Yes.
And I think you already touched on one, which was just being authentic and being you.
Yep.
But is there any other advice that you would give to young Stephanie?
I think do your research, find a brokerage that aligns with you, with your values, and that's at any state in your career. And really find a good mentor. And even you can be selective on the mentor and work for a team initially. So you really learn the business side of it and just go through a lot of transactions. And it might be rough for a few years, but you get your real estate license and it takes about 3 to 4 years to build a business. So why not do it under somebody's wing where you learn? You know?
Yeah, I see that a lot where an agent, and I think we talked about it a little, or we possibly touched on it with the ego, because I think sometimes people that transition into real estate, they don't see themselves on a team. And I think we all know that if you do not have some sort of mentor or guidance or additional training, it is really, really difficult to be successful. Most real estate agents fail. And so whether that is a mentor, I created an entire program around that model, that thought, because I think, sometimes it's hard for someone to say, okay, I'm going to give up half my commission and join this team. But sometimes that's the right move for you to take you to the next step. And I think it's really important to put the ego aside and understand you're actually starting at zero.
You're an apprentice.
Yeah.
I mean, any apprenticeship takes 3 years, and so you have to learn it. It's I see how now compared to 17 years ago, I have so much more ease and authority when I enter a room with a client. It's so different, and just observing, and I collaborate a lot with an agent who's been in the business 40 years, and I even learn from her right now, how she talks to clients in tricky situations. I think there's always something to learn, and you have to be willing to, because in the end, it's for your client. You get better for your client every day. So, yeah.
So
awesome.
We like to hear some wild real estate stories. So we always ask our guests if they have anything real estate related, like what is the craziest thing that you have experienced that you can share? Because Stephanie has a lot of stories. But what's the craziest thing you've experienced?
I have one funny one, because I do a lot of business in Topanga. And it's actually funny, in Topanga, the bears are back now. We have a mama bear with 3 cubs. But years ago, I had a listing, and I had a young agent who asked if he could hold my open house. And it was this wonderful listing, end of open house time, and it's near hiking trails. And he had all of a sudden, he has this person coming screaming at him, running in, begging to use the shower, and just dripping down in front of him, because he went on a hike nearby and he had bear mace in his pants.
Oh no.
And it went off on him.
Oh no.
He didn't see a bear, it just went off.
No, it just went off. I don't even know why he had bear mace back then, because we didn't have bears. And at the same time, the seller came back home. And it was just an odd situation.
Very awkward. Okay, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I thought you were going to say like a bear showed up at the open house. That's what I was hoping for. Yeah, that's where I wanted the story to go.
No,
but
we might soon though.
Yeah, you
have
never
a
know.
bear in my neighborhood swim in the neighbor's pool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would too if I was a bear.
Let's check out all the pools in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Everyone loves the area.
It's a great story.
Okay, is there anything else that you would want to share, or any words of wisdom or advice, or just really anything that we need to know about you?
I want to share something. It's now a bit of a commercial, but I'm so glad I joined Innovate, actually.
Okay, we're not paying her to say this. I feel like there's been a few agents. Well, let's talk about that. So before you go into that, but what made you want to make a change, I guess?
I think when I heard about Innovate and what Innovate was planning on doing, I was excited for the first time in many years in this business. It feels like all the large corporate real estate brands out there have just been having their own high school drama. I mean, there was so much in the news constantly. Who's buying who, and who's the baddie, and who's the goodie. It really felt like having a conversation with my teenage daughters on social media. And it was getting frustrating, because I felt it's never about the agent anymore.
Yeah.
And how can we support you? And it's about cutting costs, and here's our marketing, and $2,000 agents use the same marketing, and go ahead and do this and that. And then I heard about Innovate, and I was like, wow, they are selective. They are trying to create a culture. And I had one meeting with David, our amazing marketing guy, and I was like, wow, I'm sold. This is incredible. He's inspired.
Yeah.
He's not, he loves what he's doing, and I can just chat with him about a specific property, and we can brainstorm on how to position it best in the market. And even what you guys are doing, and with all the sister companies and everything, and our office and the beautiful space, it's so different. It was a breath of fresh air, and it got me inspired again.
Yeah.
And the response has been fantastic.
I love that. Yeah, I think, it's easy for these brokerages that have been in business forever to just continue to do the same thing, and I think in a way we had a little bit of an upper hand launching Innovate, because we were able to look at it and say, like, what is broken in the brokerage world, and how can we fix it, and what can we do differently? Because we don't want to just be just another option, just another brokerage. There's plenty of those out there. And so we put a lot of time into thinking how we can do that. And so thank you for saying that. It's very rewarding when we hear that it's working. And it's funny you mentioned David, like the passion that he has.
It's incredible.
You know, it all comes together, and our entire team is that way, you know, because just as you are inspired, so is everybody else, you know. So yeah, I feel the same way. I think, you know, and we talk about it a lot on our podcast because it's real estate news, right? All the things that are happening, but it does start to feel like, okay, you know, it's like, we've been saying it the past few podcasts. We hang up, we clock off, and then we're like, oh gosh, there's another big drama announcement.
Now they're shooting slides at each other on Instagram, who does what worse, and it's so silly. And I'm like, can you guys please focus on what we really need to do here and is sell homes? Talk about your divorce drama. But also what you cultivate at Innovate is kind of the business I grew up within. Like my grandparents, my mother's business, they had employees that had worked there for 30, 40 years, and it's how you treat them, and the community you create, and when people just feel good where they work, they'll be the best people to work with. And I see that with any person I touch base within the company. It's always friendly, nice, upbeat, and that's just amazing. Yeah,
it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where it's like we this is our life. Like this is it. Yeah. This is the life we're living, and you know, we've got to enjoy it. There's no reason to be, nobody wants to go to work every day and be miserable. So anything that we can do we're just not going to tolerate that type of environment, you know? And so I think the people that we bring on our team, the people that we bring to Innovate, they have to have that same mindset, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And even beyond Innovate, I would say, you know, with the other companies as well, there's kind of a cool synergy between everyone, and I think everyone collectively likes to enjoy their life and have a great. I could say that for sure. One of CSL, they do a yearly like party where they're all just hanging out for a few days at the casino, and
we call it the team appreciation event.
Yeah.
And we ask the team what they want to do, and they always want to go to like a local casino and play cards and go to the pool, and it's pretty good. But I agree. Yeah, thank you. They're very kind words. I think you mentioned it, but it's humbling to have a thought, you know, and then see it come to fruition. And you know, we're obviously really passionate about single family transaction, whether it's investment grade or retail. And you know, I think it is actually easy for the big operations to get stuck doing what they're doing because, you know, the market dynamics are just different. So, you know, if you're a big company today and transactions are down by 40% at a national level because, you know, there's a lower supply of inventory and rates are doing what they're doing, you know, the only way for them to make their shareholders or the public markets happy is to grow, and the only way to grow is to go and acquire. And so they get very focused on fighting and acquiring and doing other things versus just getting really good at the actual craft. And so, you know, I think it's put us in a place where we're newer, you know, 3 years as of, I think, this month.
Wait, that wasn't announced in the brokerage meeting.
We missed 2 things.
I told them to add the slide. So it's our official 3-year anniversary. It was May 8th when we got our license. So I'm excited.
But being just 3 years in, you know, we're small and we're lean and we can kind of pivot and make adjustments really quickly. And we don't have to go and chase the splashy, you know, headlines and all those things. And so it's very rewarding to work in an environment where we can see the value that we're creating, you know, with everyone that's on team. So it's good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think with that.
Yes, we have to. I would be remiss if I didn't say we have to finish so that our amazing media person that's on the team that loves to be at all of these events can get on the road, because it's possible that he might have a 5-hour drive.
goodness.
He came for this,
Yes,
and so we want to
yeah.
make sure he does not have a 5-hour drive,
Yeah.
but he's that passionate. So.
LA life, LA
Yes,
life,
LA
yeah.
life.
If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button on the screen right now. Share it with your friends, family members, neighbors. It helps us out a whole lot. We're really excited to share all of our experiences, our team members, and thank you very much for being on the
Thank
episode
you.
today. Yeah, and that's a
Okay,
wrap.
we'll see you next time.